All right, guys, it's time for tonight's Tool Time Award, and tonight we're giving it to New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg again. I know we're not going to give him hell about his stupid crusade against large soda cups or his other health-related wars. This time he's getting it for another insane defense of the NYPD stop and frisk policy. But before explaining, I guess I should first note that there's been an uptick in gun violence in New York City recently.
77 New Yorkers were shot during the week of the July 4th holiday, including a 3-year-old wounded in a crossfire while playing in a sprinkler.
Now, since there have been more gun-related deaths in recent weeks, seems like Bloomberg decided that, hey, it's a good opportunity to praise stop and frisk. He did it last month during a church service first.
I understand why some people call for stops to be eliminated entirely, but there's no denying that stops take guns off the street and save lives.
But now he's at it again, and this time he did it during service at the Greater Allen AME Cathedral. And rather than just focusing on why stop and frisk is so good, he took the time to call out to organizations who don't see the program the same way that he does, one of them being the NYCLU.
I don't know how we're going to have the NYCLU or the courts on the streets every place. They sit there and they pontificate and they complain, but they don't do anything.
But the mayor didn't stop there. He went on to say, let's be clear, the NYCLU's priority is not protecting our safety, it is protecting their ideology. And in that regard, they are no better than the NRA. Both groups, I think, are dangerously wrong on the Constitution. The right to bear arms and the right to privacy do not trump the right of citizens to walk down their own hallway without getting blown away. So I guess when in doubt, fearmonger, right? Once again, I'm going to call out Bloomberg for how wrong he is about stop and frisk. You see, there's a reason the people have taken to the streets of New York to protest the police department's policy. Bloomberg claims that we needed to take care of the city's violence, yet 90% of those who were stopped in 2011 were released immediately. That's right, the NYPD is proud of the fact that they stopped 684,000 people last year, but only 12% of those were arrested or received summonses. So sure sounds like that's a really effective process. But let me also take a moment to remind everyone at home that 80% of those detained were Black or Latino, yet a huge majority of them weren't held for any crimes. I'm no police officer, but the statistics seem to prove how racist and damaging and not helpful the stop and frisk policy really is. Now, Bloomberg isn't a total idiot. He did mention that the current program needs to be mended, saying that cops should be properly trained to be courteous during stops. But his cheerleading for Ray Kelly and the NYPD was much more prominent than his one sentence addressing the concerns of those most affected by this policy. So, looks like Führer Bloomberg is at it again, tearing away at our most basic civil liberties, making an argument in favor of cops hassling any citizen of New York without provocation. You know, it's really sad to see him defending a policy which tramples on your Fourth Amendment rights, something that the mayor here thinks that we rely on too much, if that's possible. And what's worse is that he's just using solid fear-mongering techniques to do it. Just say it's for the sake of national security, or in this case, your personal safety, your children's safety. And lo and behold, everyone's expected to just hand over their civil liberties, just like our ever-growing surveillance state. Just like the pointless drug laws that lead to more African Americans being jailed across the country. If you say it's in the public's interest to cooperate, lock up anybody who doesn't play by the rules. And unfortunately for Bloomberg, the fear-mongering isn't even based in fact. See, according to local radio station WNYC, the areas where the most guns are found fall outside the concentrated area for stop and frisks. I just don't understand why Bloomberg is attacking the NYCLU for defending your rights, the Constitution. Will he finally be happy when, I don't know, New York City is a police state? When you can't go 3 city blocks without running into a checkpoint? How long before everybody has to start carrying their papers? In Bloomberg's eyes, I guess those are reasonable expectations because it supposedly keeps New Yorkers alive. So for using fear as a technique to go after groups who stand up for your civil liberties, and for defending a program that basically is legalized racism, again, all in the style of scaring you into thinking that it's okay, Mayor Bloomberg wins tonight's Tool Time Award.